Hello and welcome. My name is Alfred Ball and I represent Education USA and the Bureau of Educational and Cultural Affairs at the U.S. Department of State in Washington, D.C. Today's Facebook Live is about navigating the student visa process. If you're an international student and need help with the application process for a student visa, this program is for you. Joining us today are Jennifer Sudweeks and Emily Almas. Jennifer is a Foreign Service Officer with the U.S. Department of State. She has worked in many different aspects of consular affairs, including both non-immigrant and immigrant visas. Jennifer is joining us virtually from New Delhi, India, where she serves as the U.S. Embassy's non-immigrant visa chief. Welcome, Jennifer. Joining me in our studio is Emily Almas. Emily is the Associate Dean of Admissions and Director of Recruitment at Swarthmore College in Swarthmore, Pennsylvania, where she coordinates international student recruitment. Thank you for joining us, Emily.
Thank you.
To our viewers, this conversation is meant to be engaging, so if you have questions on student visas, please don't hesitate to ask in the comment section on your screens. We will do our best to answer your questions live during the program. I want to take the time to welcome a viewing group joining us virtually from the Education USA Advising Center in Lahore, Pakistan. Mariam Zahra Khan is the Education USA advisor there. Hello, Mariam. Can you tell us a bit about your group and their questions?
So I'm Mariam Zahra Khan. I'm an education advisor at Education USA Center in Lahore, Pakistan. And I'm accompanied by a group of like 15 students. They're from all across Pakistan. A few of them have already gotten acceptances in different schools all across the US. Some with full fundings, a few are like paying out of their pocket. And they have questions related to whatnot, financials, general visa inquiries. So we're all set for this session.
Thank you, Mariam. We will come back to your group throughout the program. So to begin, Jennifer, can you start our discussion by sharing some insights on the student visa process?
Yes, I can. First, let me say that international students are really important to the Department of State. They are one of our top priorities. We recognize the important contributions that students make to the college communities and university communities across the United States, and the academic cooperation and opportunities that come from having international students mixed in with regular classes. We're committed to supporting the U.S. academic community, and we also strive very hard to have efficient visa processing while at the same time meeting our national security and border security requirements. National security is our top priority when we're adjudicating visa applications. Every visa decision is a national security decision, and so that's why we have an extensive screening process for each applicant. However, worldwide, most students, in fact, the vast majority of students, do receive their visa when they apply to study in the United States. We have over 1 million students at higher education institutions in the US right now, and there's no cap, there's no quota. So if we could make that 2 million in the next few years, we'd be happy to do that as well.
Jennifer, thank you very much. Could you tell us a little bit about what students should do first before applying for a student visa?
Well, before applying for a student visa, you first have to be accepted at a university, and you have to have received your Form I-20 from the school that you want to attend. So once you have your Form I-20, you pay the SEVIS, the Student and Exchange Visitor Information System fee, at fmjfee.com. Then you can go to travel.state.gov and complete your visa application form that's on that website. And you can also find out what the wait times are at each embassy and consulate. That's really important because some consulates and embassies have very long wait times in the summer. We do our best to get students in first, but you want to include that in your plans. So apply for your visa as early as you can, but no more than 120 days before your program begins. After you have set your appointment, then you will, after you've filled out your application, you'll go to the embassy website and look for information on how that application process works in that country. You pay the non-refundable visa application fee, which is $160. And we ask you, please do not book your airline tickets until you actually have your visa in your hands.
Jennifer, thank you. Any tips specifically on scheduling the visa interview?
Well, one of the things that I want to make sure to address is some sort of tips on what to say in your interview. The first thing is that nobody can tell your story better than you can. You should approach this interview as an interview and not an exam. There's not memorized answers to questions that you should be giving. So the consular officer will focus on 4 things during your interview. The first is, who are you and what are your ties? What is your story about your academic journey? The next is, what do you want to do? Where do you want to study? Why do you want to study that particular major or subject? The next question will be about how you're going to pay for your university. We have to be confident as consular officers that you can pay for the entire length of your study program. So make sure to have all that information with you when you apply. And we're going to ask you also about what you want to do when you finish your studies. So schedule an appointment at the consulate or embassy that's closest to you. And then on the day of your visa interview, make sure to bring this list of things with you. Your Form I-20, which the school has already sent to you. Your DS-160 visa application, which you need to print out the confirmation page after you fill that out on travel.state.gov. You need to bring your passport. It's important that your passport has at least 6 months left on it by the time you get in the United States, so make sure that it's not going to expire in the next little while. You'll need to bring a photo that meets our photo requirements, which you can also find on travel.state.gov. Your visa application fee receipt, also your SEVIS receipt, and any other additional documents that the specific embassy or consulate you're applying at requires.
Thank you very much, Jennifer. During the visa interview, do they collect fingerprints?
Yes, at the visa interview, we will collect your fingerprints electronically. It's a very easy and simple process.
Thank you very much, Jennifer, for this very, very valuable information. I'm sure that our viewers are going to come back during the program with questions about specific aspects of what you just went through. Let me turn to you, Emily, and ask, can you tell us what role a university or college might play during this whole process?
That's a great question. And first, to everyone who's watching, congratulations, welcome. We're very excited to welcome you to colleges and universities in the United States. There are some things that a U.S. university or college can do and some that we can't. And certainly one of the things we can do and will do for you is issue that I-20 form. So it's really important for students to understand the process to getting an I-20 issued from your institution. I'd like to start there. I think a lot of students have questions about how that happens. So the first thing you want to do is follow the instructions at the institution where you're enrolling. They might have steps on a website, for example. They might have a portal or an email address. You'll need to provide documents to the institution where you're enrolling so they can issue the Form I-20 to you. That includes things like information from your passport, certification of your financial situation, how are you going to pay, as Jennifer mentioned, for your time studying in the United States. It might include an additional form. And a helpful hint I have for viewers is to understand the addresses that are involved in this process, because eventually the college or university will mail you that Form I-20. And so you want to make sure they understand where they're supposed to be mailing it. Sometimes colleges and universities will give you a chance to choose how you want that mailed. And so I would encourage students to elect to have that mailed express mail or tracked mail. Otherwise, it could take weeks for your I-20 to get to you, and that just delays the process even further. So be sure to follow the steps that the college or university where you're enrolling provide on how to get your I-20 issued to you. And be sure once you receive that form to check it. Does everything match? Is your name correct? Is the program and the start date correct to your understanding? Because you want all of your documentation to match and you want it to be correct and accurate. What if it's not accurate? That's okay. If anything changes or there's a mistake or an issue, be sure to reach out to the college or university. Every school will have a person that you can contact, an international student advisor. It might be someone at admissions or at International Student Services office. You want to go and contact that person and also just generally keep them informed if and as there are changes in the process. So that's the first thing that I would be sure to mention. coming to the United States to study is really exciting. And so you probably have a lot of questions as a new student. Where might you get answers to those questions? Many schools have websites that have information about this process, the steps you need to follow, what forms they require, again, to issue the I-20, when you might need to come on campus, for example. So as a prospective student, you want to follow the information available on the website or in other information that's been distributed to you from the school. So schools can and will issue you the I-20. What schools can't do and won't do is issue the F-1 visa. And so sometimes students have questions about the roles that institutions play in this process for a student going through the application. We can certainly provide information to students. We can help ensure that a student has all the forms and documentation and paperwork they might need. For example, you'll want to bring your CVIS fee receipt with you to the F-1 student visa interview, things like that. Unfortunately, ultimately, it's up to the student to go and do the interview themselves. But if a student is not successful in that interview, you want to be sure to come back and tell the school that you're going to enroll in as well that happened, and we can talk to you, counsel you about the next steps that may include, for example, reapplying, delaying your start date, and trying to reapply for the visa.
That's all very valuable advice. Thank you very much, Emily, for that great perspective. And I know that we'll be coming back to you throughout the program with questions from our viewers. Now let's go to our viewing group at the Education USA Advising Center in Lahore, Pakistan for some questions. Hello, Lahore. Can you give us your first question for our experts?
Yes, sir. My name is Majid, and I'm applying for a student visa, and my father is funding my graduate studies. But he has put all his funds that I required in my personal account. And I have been working for the last 2 and 3 years as well. I have saved a bit of amount myself. So I still be showing him as my sponsor. Will that any chances of us getting student?
Okay, can I ask, Jennifer, did you hear the question? Are you able to answer?
I think I could answer that. We actually don't, as consular officers, we don't really consider parents a sponsor. We would consider that family funds. And so what you want to do is bring your financial history of where those funds came from, be able to talk about, how your father has been saving over several years, maybe bring bank records, and your also income. You might want to bring some pay stubs and things like that to show if the consular officer asks you to provide some financial information and documents.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jennifer. Lahore, do you have another question for us?
Yes. I had a fully funded scholarship. So is it required to show financial statement to support my visa application?
So I think that's for me again. If your scholarship covers everything that's listed on your I-20, including room and board and books and miscellaneous expenses, all you need to do is bring the evidence from the university that you have the scholarship. If it's only a partial scholarship, though, which many of them are, they'll cover just tuition, then you'll need to make sure that you have enough to pay for your personal finances.
Thank you.